All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We're going to try to unpack
Right.
what really went down with generative AI in the enterprise this past year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've got, mountains of reports and articles
Yeah.
just for you, and I think we're going to find some really interesting nuggets.
It's not just hype. This is the year that it got real.
It's not just experimenting anymore. It's like it's actually happening. How do we know that?
Well, look at the spending. Generative AI in the enterprise hit $13.8 billion this year.
Wait, hold on. 13.8 billion.
That's right.
How much was it last year?
Less than a sixth of that.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like everybody suddenly woke up and realized, hey, this is the future.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is, but what does that actually look like, though? What are they spending it on?
Well, one big indicator is where that money's coming from. 40% of it is straight out of permanent budgets. Not R&D, not experimental budgets, not let's kick the tires money.
Right.
This is core operations money.
It's really being integrated into how businesses do business.
Exactly. It's business as usual now, and it's only going to get more integrated.
So you're saying it's not a fad?
No, 72% of decision makers believe that generative AI is going to become even more widespread.
Let's be real for a second. I'm a business leader. I'm hearing all this hype. AI is taking over. AI is the future.
Of course.
I'm probably a little overwhelmed.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Okay.
Over a third of those same decision makers, they admit they don't have a concrete plan for how to implement it.
Right. They're all excited, but where do you even start? Uncharted territory.
Okay, so let's follow the money trail a little bit. We said 13.8 billion.
Yeah.
What are they actually spending it on? Like, what are they buying?
Almost 4.6 billion went to AI applications.
And that's nearly 8 times higher than last year. So that tells you something.
Okay, so these aren't just, platforms and infrastructure.
Yeah.
These are actual tools that people are using. What are some of the hottest apps out there?
Top 5. Code copilots, support chatbots, enterprise search and retrieval, data extraction and transformation tools, and meeting summarization.
Let's start with code copilots. What are those?
Imagine an AI pair programmer sitting next to you, helping you write code.
Like actually writing code.
Faster, cleaner, better code. Think GitHub Copilot.
Okay, yeah.
And that's projected to make $300 million in revenue this year.
That's a sign that it's working. Okay, what about those chatbots? Everybody's used one of those at some point, right?
They're getting a lot more sophisticated.
Like not just, hi, how can I help you?
No, they can handle a ton of routine queries.
Okay, so for employees and for customers.
Both.
All right.
It takes the load off human support agents.
So you can focus on those more complex questions.
Exactly.
Right. What about enterprise search and data tools? What are those all about? They don't sound quite as
glamorous. Think of it this way. All the information scattered across a company, emails, documents, databases, it's a nightmare.
Right.
These tools use AI to make it all searchable.
So you can actually find stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about data extraction and transformation tools? What's their magic trick?
No more manually pulling data from different sources.
Okay, so cleaning and formatting and all that.
All automated, so humans can focus on the interesting stuff.
Right. Makes sense. And meeting summarization, I think we can all relate to.
Oh, absolutely. No more struggling to remember who said what in a meeting.
Yeah, and no more frantically trying to write everything down.
Or worse, somebody gets tasked with taking notes and then nobody reads them.
Right. Okay, so all of these applications, they're really about boosting efficiency.
Yes.
And making people's jobs a little bit easier. Okay. But where is this all headed? Are we just talking about tools to help us, or is AI actually going to start making decisions?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And it leads us to the next big thing, AI agents.
Hold on, agents. That sounds a little intimidating.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
The tools we've discussed so far, they help us.
Right.
AI agents actually do the work themselves. They make decisions, take actions, even learn and adapt.
So having a coworker who's a super powered AI.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it's still early, but we're already seeing examples. Forge and Semaphore are using them for financial workflows. And Clay built an AI go-to-market tool that can identify and target customers.
So this isn't just a sci-fi fantasy anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm a company and I'm hearing all this. I'm like, all right, I need to get on board with this AI thing. Do I build my own solutions, or do I just buy something off the shelf?
It's almost an even split. 47% are building their own.
Really? Really? I'm surprised it's that high.
53% are buying, so it's close.
Why are so many companies trying to build their own AI solutions? It seems like that would be incredibly difficult.
I think it's about control.
Okay.
They want something custom built, something that fits their needs perfectly.
But for the companies that are buying, what are they like? What's at the top of their list? What are they looking for?
ROI is number one.
That makes sense. Nobody wants to invest in something that's not going to pay off.
Exactly. And then industry-specific customization. They want something that's tailored to their specific needs.
So it's not just about finding the cheapest option.
Nope. Price is almost a non-issue. They're more focused on value.
Even with the best AI solution in the world, I imagine there are still challenges, right? Like getting it to work, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Oh, absolutely. A big pitfall is underestimating things like technical integration, ongoing support, and scalability.
You get all excited about the AI itself,
Right.
but you forget about all the boring stuff that has to happen around it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got established companies, we've got companies building their own solutions, we've got all this talk about disruption. What about startups? Are they shaking things up in the AI space?
While the big vendors are still out there, startups are gaining traction because they're more agile.
Yeah, tailored solutions. So like they're not just trying to be everything to everyone. They're focusing on specific problems.
Exactly. And we're seeing more dissatisfaction with the one-size-fits-all approach from some of the bigger players.
So it's like that classic, David versus Goliath story.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Okay, so all of this is happening. Who in a company is like driving this? Is it just like the IT guys, or is it more widespread?
It's spreading. AI budgets are being allocated across all departments,
Seriously, like marketing, sales.
even HR finance.
So AI is not just a tech department thing anymore. It's really becoming a company-wide tool.
That's right. And that's a good thing.
So we've talked about these general applications, but are there any industries that are like really leaning into AI in unique and interesting ways?
Oh, yeah. We're seeing a huge surge in what we call vertical AI applications.
What does that mean? Vertical AI application.
Solutions designed for specific industries: healthcare, legal, financial services, and media and entertainment.
Okay, so not just like general purpose tools, but tools that are really built for a specific industry.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dive into some examples then, like what's happening in healthcare.
One of the coolest things is the rise of AI scribes.
Scribes, like taking notes.
They listen in on doctor-patient conversations and automatically generate notes and documentation.
Wow, so doctors can actually spend less time doing paperwork.
Right. More time with patients.
What about the legal profession? How's AI changing things there?
Imagine sifting through mountains of legal documents in minutes, or having an AI flag potential risks in a contract.
It's like having a super-powered paralegal.
That's a good analogy.
Okay, what about financial services? It seems like that industry is like drowning in data and regulations.
AI is swimming right in. It's revolutionizing accounting,
Right.
speeding up financial research, helping companies stay compliant.
Okay.
AI can analyze data, spot trends, and generate reports way faster than any human.
It's like having an army of financial analysts working around the clock. What about media and entertainment? How's AI impacting that world?
It's being used for everything, from content creation to video editing to special effects.
It's like giving creative professionals a whole new set of superpowers.
Exactly.
Okay, all of these amazing applications, they all require like a lot of technology behind the scenes, right? What's the infrastructure that makes all this possible?
That's where the modern AI stack comes in.
What is the AI stack?
It's a whole ecosystem of technologies. At the core are the foundation models, the large language models.
Right, the LLMs.
They're the brains of the operation.
And then what else is in the stack?
You've got data pipelines,
Mm.
which handle the data,
Okay.
and then specialized databases,
Okay.
like vector databases. They can handle the massive amounts of information.
Like a whole orchestra of technologies working together.
Oh, absolutely.
And these LLMs themselves, are they like constantly evolving?
Exactly.
What are some of the trends you're seeing in the LLM space?
One interesting trend is that companies are diversifying their LLM portfolios.
What do you have?
They're using multiple models from different providers.
Is it just to spread the risk or something?
It's partly risk, but it's also about finding the best model for the job. Different models have different strengths.
So like one might be really good at natural language processing, while another one is better at code generation.
Exactly.
What other trends are you seeing?
Another big one is that OpenAI's market share has actually dropped.
They were the big dog, right? What happened?
Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet model is gaining ground.
Why is that?
It's got a great combination of advanced capabilities, security, and price.
Oh, it's kind of like finding that sweet spot.
Exactly.
How are companies actually using these LLMs? Are there any dominant design patterns emerging?
One that's really taken off is RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Okay, break that down for me. What is RAG?
It's all about combining LLMs with the ability to access and retrieve external information.
It's not just about generating text in a vacuum. It's about like grounding it in the real world.
Exactly. Makes
Yeah.
the responses more accurate and comprehensive.
What other design patterns are you seeing?
Fine-tuning, which is customizing an LLM for a specific task, it's still pretty rare.
Really? Why is that?
It's complex, time-consuming, and you need a ton of data.
So it's like a high barrier to entry for a lot of companies.
That's right.
What about agentic architectures? We talked about those AI agents earlier.
Absolutely.
Are they influencing design patterns?
Yeah, about 12% of implementations are using them now.
Why are we seeing this shift towards agentic architectures?
It's all about giving AI systems more autonomy. They can break down tasks, make decisions, learn, and adapt.
Moving from like a tool to an actual agent that can like act on your behalf.
Absolutely.
All of this sophisticated AI, these ARAG systems, these agentic architectures, they must require a pretty robust infrastructure, right?
They do. Aragi in particular relies on being able to access and retrieve information super fast.
So like you need those powerful data pipelines and specialized databases we talked about.
Exactly. You also need robust ETL tools.
Extract, transform, load, that's all about preparing the data, right?
Exactly. You got to make sure the LLM has high quality data to work with.
Garbage in, garbage out. That makes sense. So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
It's clear that AI is transforming the business world, and it's happening fast.
It is.
I have a feeling this is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But for now, we'll take a break and come back with more in part 2 of the deep dive.
Looking forward to it. All right, so we've talked about what's happening right now, but what about the future? What's coming next?
Give us the crystal ball predictions here. What do you see happening with AI in the enterprise, say, 5 years down the line?
Well, one thing we're pretty confident about is that AI agents are about to unleash a whole new wave of transformation.
Okay, agents, we touched on those a bit earlier.
That's right.
I think we need a little bit of a refresher. What makes these agents so different from the tools that businesses are already using?
Most AI tools today, they're like assistants. They help us do things better.
Okay.
Agents, on the other hand, they can actually run entire processes from start to finish. Make decisions, take actions, learn, adapt.
So it's like having an employee who never sleeps.
That's a good way to put it.
So how big of a deal is this? Like, are we just talking about, automating a few tasks here and there, or is this something that's really going to shake things up?
Oh, this is going to be huge.
Okay.
We're talking about a potential impact on the $400 billion software market.
Okay.
And even the $10 trillion U.S. services economy.
Okay, so those are some big numbers.
Yes.
But all this automation, it's got to come with some challenges, right?
Of course.
Like, what about security? How do we know these AI agents are, doing what they're supposed to be doing and not going rogue?
We're going to need much more robust authentication systems.
Okay.
And we'll need platforms to integrate these agents with existing software. And as these agents get smarter, they're going to generate a lot of code.
Right.
We're going to need specialized runtimes to manage all that code.
Okay, so it's like we're building a whole new digital infrastructure just for these AI agents.
Pretty much.
All right, so prediction number 1, AI agents are going to be huge.
Yeah.
What else is on the horizon?
I think we're going to see a lot more established companies losing ground to AI native startups.
So we're not just talking about companies adopting AI. We're talking about a whole new breed of companies that are like built on AI from the ground up.
Exactly.
And those startups are going to be the ones that really disrupt things.
We saw a glimpse of it this year, ChatGPT,
Right.
disrupting companies like Chegg and Stack Overflow.
Right. So it's like the big companies, they're trying to catch up, but these startups, they're already ahead of the curve.
They're nimble, they're innovative.
They don't have the baggage of like legacy systems and stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so prediction number 2, the rise of the AI native startup. What's number 3?
The AI talent drought is going to get much, much worse.
Well, yeah, we touched on that earlier. The demand for people who know AI is just exploding.
And it's only going to accelerate. We need people who can not only code, but also understand the business applications of AI.
Right. So it's not just about finding, data scientists. It's about finding people who can like connect the dots between the technology and the real world.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about data scientists anymore. We're talking about AI architects.
Okay. And what do those folks do?
They design and build the systems. They make sure they're robust, scalable, and secure. It's a very specialized skill set.
So companies are going to have to get really creative to attract this talent.
Absolutely. Higher salaries, better benefits, more flexible work arrangements. It's going to be a war for talent.
So let me just recap your predictions.
Sure.
Number 1, AI agents. Number 2, AI native startups. And number 3, a massive AI talent drought.
That's right.
Sound like businesses are going to have to be pretty adaptable to thrive in this new world.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, that's a lot to think about.
Right.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back for a minute.
Okay.
We've talked about all these applications and predictions.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to you from all this information? Like, what's the one thing that you're going to be thinking about, long after this deep dive is over?
I think the thing that really struck me is the speed of innovation. It's incredible how fast things are moving in the AI space. It seems like every day there's a new breakthrough.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing. But is all this innovation necessarily a good thing? I mean, are there any downsides to this rapid progress?
Well, it's important to remember that any technology this powerful, it comes with responsibility.
Right.
We can't just focus on the cool new features. We have to think about the potential consequences.
Yeah, we can't just like throw caution to the wind and hope for the best. But how do we actually address those concerns? Where do we even start?
I think it starts with embedding ethical considerations into every stage of AI development,
Okay.
from the initial design to the actual deployment.
So it's not just about building cool tech, it's about building tech that's actually like beneficial for society. But how do we do that? How do we make sure that AI is used for good?
Well, I think we need to start by focusing on 3 key principles:
Right.
transparency, accountability, and fairness.
All right, I like that. Those sound like good guiding principles. Let's break each of those down a little bit. What do we mean by transparency in the context of AI?
Transparency means being open about how AI systems work. What data are they using? How are they making decisions?
So it's about like lifting the veil and showing people what's going on inside the black box.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
more people understand how AI works, the more they're going to trust it.
Right. Because if it's all just a mystery, then people are going to be naturally suspicious. Okay, what about accountability? How do we ensure that there's actually accountability when it comes to AI systems?
It means establishing clear lines of responsibility.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, who's responsible? The developer, the company deploying it, the user. We need clear answers to those questions.
So it's about having checks and balances in place, making sure that there are consequences if things go wrong.
Exactly.
That one seems particularly important because, as we've talked about, AI systems can reflect existing biases.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that AI is used to create a more just and equitable world, not one that reinforces existing inequalities.
So it's not just about building AI that's, technically impressive. It's about building AI that's actually ethically sound.
Exactly. We have a responsibility to use this technology wisely.
Yeah, it's not just about, the coolest new gadget or the most profitable application. It's about like the future of our society.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a really important point to pause on. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but
Yeah.
I think it's clear that this is just the beginning of the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. The world of AI is constantly evolving, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it.
Absolutely. We'll pick up this conversation in part 3 of the deep dive, where we'll delve even deeper into some of the most pressing questions and challenges surrounding AI.
If you have married your worst enemy, call us, Nidfakta Law Office.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking about generative AI in the enterprise, and we've covered a lot of ground talking about the ethical implications of AI. And it just seems like that's something we can't ignore, right? This is a really powerful technology, and we need to make sure that we're using it responsibly.
No question about it. We can't just get caught up in all the hype and ignore the potential downsides.
Yeah, it feels like we're at a real turning point here. Like we have this incredibly powerful technology, but we're still trying to figure out how to use it wisely. It's almost like we've stumbled upon this amazing new tool, but we don't have the instruction manual. We're still writing the rules as we go along.
Right. And those rules are really important. We were talking about transparency, accountability, fairness. These seem like really good guiding principles, but how do we actually put those into practice?
Well, I think it starts with a shift in mindset. We need to start thinking about AI as just a tool and start thinking about it as
Right.
a partner that we need to build a relationship with based on trust and shared values.
So it's not just about giving orders to a machine. It's about collaborating.
Exactly. And that means being transparent about how AI works, holding ourselves accountable for its actions,
Right.
and making sure that it's used in a way that's fair and equitable for everyone.
Right. Right. And those principles, transparency, accountability, fairness, they sound great in theory,
Sure.
but how do we actually make them real?
Well, transparency, I think, starts with education.
Yeah.
We need to demystify AI,
Okay.
make it understandable, not just for the experts, but for everyone.
So, like explainable AI.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to see, okay, here's how the system came to this conclusion. Here's the data it used. Here's the logic it followed.
Right. And I think that's really important because if people don't understand how AI works, then they're naturally going to be distrustful of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That distrust is going to be a major barrier to adoption.
Right. Right. Okay. So transparency is about education, about making AI understandable.
Right. Yeah.
What about accountability? How do we make sure that there's actually accountability when it comes to AI systems?
Well, for me, accountability starts with responsibility. We need to be clear about who's responsible for what when it comes to AI,
Right.
who's designing it,
Okay.
who's developing it, who's deploying it, who's using it, and what are their responsibilities at each stage.
Right. And I think that's important because with any new technology, there's always a tendency to sort of like pass the buck. Nobody wants to be the one who's ultimately responsible if something goes wrong.
Exactly. And with AI, that's just not acceptable. We need to have clear lines of accountability.
Okay, so we've got transparency, we've got accountability.
Yeah.
What about fairness? How do we make sure that AI is used in a way that's fair and equitable?
Well, fairness, I think, is really about being proactive.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about the potential for bias
Okay.
from the very beginning.
Okay.
What data are we using to train these systems? Are there any inherent biases in that data?
Because if you train an AI system on biased data, then the system is going to be biased.
Exactly. So we need to be really careful about the data we use. We need to be thinking about how to mitigate bias. We need to be testing these systems to make sure they're actually fair.
So it's not just about building the technology, it's about thinking about the human impact.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure that we're using it for the right reasons.
It's really about I guess taking a step back and thinking about the kind of world we want to create.
Absolutely. And what role we want AI to play in that world.
That's a great point to wrap up on, I think. We've covered a lot of ground in these three deep dives.
We have.
And it's clear that AI is transforming the business world, but it's also clear that there are a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of challenges that we still need to address.
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation, and it's one that we need to have.
Absolutely. So to all of you listening out there, thank you for joining us on this journey. Hope you've learned something new, that you've been challenged to think about AI in a different way, and that you're feeling inspired to engage in this really important conversation about the future of AI. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.